Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the April 15th meeting of the Rotary Club of Des Moines. I'm President Doug Saltzgaver, and we have a really special event here today. We do once a year. We're glad to be here at the Wakanda Club with all of you here in person, those watching our live stream, and those watching later on our YouTube channel. Welcome to all of you. And especially welcome to our distinguished guests, including those who will be recognized shortly for their outstanding efforts. We will be sanitizing the microphone between speakers, and we do ask that you keep your masks on when not eating, drinking, or speaking from a microphone. And thanks to Invictus Media for providing our live streaming service so more people can watch as we honor a few of our city's finest educators. And now, past President Mike Lemaire will give us a brief moment of inspiration and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and the four-way test.
Do I have to hold this?
Yes.
Huh? Thank you, Lord, for a new day. This day has never happened before, and it will never happen again. Thank you for this precious gift of time. Give us a sense of urgency to use it wisely and well. This day, then, let us mend a quarrel, build peace, seek out a forgotten friend, dismiss suspicion, and replace it with trust. Write a note of thanks, share some treasure, give a soft answer. Encourage youth, manifest our loyalty in word and deed. Keep a promise, find the time, forgo a grudge, forgive an enemy. Examine our demand on others. Think first of someone else. Appreciate, be kind, be gentle, laugh a little more. Inspire confidence, express our gratitude, offer a prayer. Gladden the heart of another, admire the beauty of God's world. Stand in awe, speak our love, speak it again, speak it still once again. Now join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now the four-way test. Is it the truth? Are all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Now give the Rotary wave to everybody.
Thank you, Mike. All right, 2 weeks ago, Kathy Cody, our Community Service Committee Chair, shared a volunteer opportunity to help our community grant recipient, the Des Moines Public Library Foundation. Volunteers are needed on Friday, April 30th from 4 to 6 p.m. to help with the Dia del Nino event at Berlin Park in Des Moines. There's a flyer on your table. If I can pick it up, it looks just like this. With Kathy's contact information, or see Kathy, as she is here today. Where are you at, Kathy? Back there, waving her hand. We hope you can help out. If we don't get some people signed up, I will pick out volunteers. I'm not afraid to do that. Today is typically the date that income taxes are due each year. Well, the same was true in 1971. How many of you remember tax day in 1971? And because I'm of some good teachers I've had, I can do the math in my head, and that was exactly 50 years ago today. And I'm sure one of our members recalls that day, not because he was writing a check to Uncle Sam, but instead, that was the day he became a member of the Rotary Club of Des Moines. Today is a special anniversary for member Russ Johnson. Russ joined our club 50 years ago today. Happy 50th anniversary, Russ, and he's with us here today. We're so glad that you're a member of our club and that especially you're here to celebrate with us in person today. Congratulations, and here's to 50 more. I will now turn the microphone over to our awards committee chair, Art Whitmack. Art?
Thank you, President Doug. What a great day. The Educator of the Year awards have been given out to public school teachers in Des Moines by our club for over 20 years. The recipients are nominated by their principals, and this year we had 24 nominations. Joining me on the selection committee were our Vice Chair, Eric Fogg, Gloria Gray, Clint Leonard, Skeet Wooten, and board member Bob Vedral. This year we're honoring 5 educators, 2 high school, 1 middle school, and 2 elementary school instructors. Each recipient, after their presentation, will receive a traveling trophy where their name will be added to the list of other previous honorees, which will be displayed in their schools for the next year. In addition, they'll be given a check for $1,000 to be applied to whatever academic necessity they feel within their classroom. These educators will also be featured on a billboard co-sponsored by Lamar Advertising that'll travel around. I don't know where it's going to be, but it'll be around with their pictures is in Des Moines. These Educator of the Year awards are made possible by your contributions quarterly to the foundation, as well as those additional funds you put in the tumbler and contribute to the foundation each year. Fellow Rotarians, thank you. It's my pleasure to introduce a friend, as well as somebody I respect a great deal. Dr. Tom Ahart is superintendent of the Des Moines Public Schools. A few statistics about the schools. It employs nearly 5,000 teachers and staff. To put that in perspective, only Wells Fargo, Unity Point Health, Hy-Vee, and Principal employ more people in the Des Moines area than the Des Moines School District. They have a certified enrollment this past year of 31,621 students. Interesting demographics, 36% of those students are white, 28% Hispanic, 20.5% African American, 8% Asian. It's quite a change from when I graduated from Roosevelt High School back in the 60s. 76% of the students in the Des Moines district that Tom leads are on free and reduced lunch. 22.6% are English language learners. 14.8 special education students. And on top of that, you add a pandemic. So I think you'll agree that Dr. Ahart has a full plate. Please join me in welcoming him for some opening remarks before we recognize the Educators of the Year. Tom?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks again for having us back. It's really important that I point out that the Rotary Club of Des Moines plays such an important role in our community. I know you all appreciate that, but to call out outstanding educators every year and recognize them in such a wonderful way is really invaluable to not just to those recipients who receive the award each year, but to their colleagues. We educators tend not to draw attention to ourselves and try to let the work that we do be seen through our students. And especially this year, it's really vital that we call out the, and I don't use this word lightly, the heroic efforts made by all of our educators. So thank you, Rotary Club, for, again, another wonderful recognition of some outstanding educators. I'm going to read, and this goes to our awardees today, but it's from an email message that I sent to our DMPS team back in January, on January 7th, as a matter of fact, because I think it helps to illustrate for all you that aren't on the DMPS team what this year has been like and the expectations that we have of one another. Dear DMPS team, just 30 days after we observed the 1941 bombing of Pearl Harbor that marks our country's formal engagement in World War II, we experienced an event that as a younger man I thought I would never see. We are living in times of sustained, magnified stress, and this is especially true for all of us trying to support our children. Your work is crucial for our community to come through all of this whole. I trust that if you didn't before, you understand that in a very personal way. I have spoken many times in the past about the importance of public education to the health and well-being of this young democracy that we call the United States of America. I ask you to take a moment to breathe today and reflect on the necessity of your work to our city, state, and country. You are supporting our students' academic development, their health, safety, and emotional well-being, and you're helping them to maintain hope. You are carrying out this vital and draining work through the fog of the worst pandemic in 10 generations while addressing centuries-old systemic racism amidst heightened political unrest and the worst economic conditions in decades. This is a lot. This is too much. Please take good care of yourself. Talk with our students and one another. Listen to our students and one another. We need to lean on each other to sustain ourselves through these historic challenges, and our community, especially our students, needs us to do this work well. And these 5 today, I won't read on, but these 5 honorees today have done everything that I just said in that statement exceedingly well. We think we know what we're getting into when we decide to become a teacher. I was a classroom teacher for 11 years, and I can tell you that as good as my preparation was, I really wasn't prepared to actually be in the classroom. And I certainly wasn't prepared to do the kind of work that we're asking of our educators today. You heard the statistics that Art shared with you about the demographics of the students that we serve. We have amazing young people literally from around the world, from over 100 different countries of birth. And if we are going to thrive as a community, as the city of Des Moines, as a state, as a country, we need to make sure that each and every one of those individual young people are nurtured and are able to realize their potential. And that's really what makes our country great. And the 5 honorees today, I want to give you my personal congratulations, my personal thank you for all that you've done for our young people and the modeling that you've done for your colleagues. And enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you. Thank you again, Rotary Club of Des Moines.
Facilitate things. We're going to ask the principal and our honoree to come forward together, and we'll start with the elementary, and go to high school and then middle school. So Beth Sloan, principal of Moore Shame on me, elementary. Let me do this.
Hi, everybody. I'm Beth Sloan. I'm the principal at Moore Elementary. And it is a privilege for me to introduce Theresa Jackson. She's a third grade teacher at Moore and a longtime teacher with Des Moines Public Schools. And I think about the Rotary Educator of the Year Award, and I had to nudge her to fill out her application because, as Tom said, it is a humble thing to think about being honored and recognized as an educator when you know your colleagues are working extremely hard as well. But Theresa is a epitome of what your award is for. She is an extremely positive person who collaborates well with her colleagues. She thinks the best of kids, and as Tom was saying about our district, it can be a long and draining job, but never once does Theresa bat an eye about that. She is positive, works extremely hard, and Randy, her husband who's sitting here today, will attest. She schleps home a bag every night and is correcting papers and giving student feedback to kids and working tirelessly on her lesson planning. And I think about all of that, and yet she's a very balanced person in this very, very hard work of education. But it's because she's so passionate as a public educator that I think that's probably the thing that stands out the most for me. She's been working in this job for years and doesn't bat an eye at the hard work that she puts in every single day. She meets the needs of her kids and differentiates for students all the time, and she also makes deep, deep connections with families. She shares her personal cell phone and emails parents and families all the time, and she just thinks the best of her students. So it is a pleasure for me to recognize her. And the other thing I wanted to mention too about her is she is a true urban educator, which does take a different kind of person to work in Des Moines Public Schools, and she is one of those people. She lives in Des Moines. She believes the Des Moines community. She is a strong advocate in the community, and as well as her family and her husband and her kids, and her children attend Des Moines Public Schools. So it's my pleasure to introduce Theresa Jackson.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much. It is an honor to be selected Elementary Educator of the Year. Thank you for this special recognition and generous financial gift for Moore Elementary and my third grade classroom. As a proud Des Moines public school teacher and parent of 2 Des Moines high school students, I truly appreciate the Des Moines Rotary Club's commitment and support of our Des Moines public schools. I am here today with my husband, Randy. Randy supports our Des Moines Public Schools by volunteering his time with students with middle school and high school mock trial as a mock trial coach. School volunteers make our public schools competitive and our community strong. Thank you all for your willingness to take action and serve the youth of our wonderful city. As an elementary educator, I am always looking for new and innovative ways to engage students in fun and meaningful tasks. Over the years, I have engaged in countless professional development classes in the areas of math, engineering, science, literacy, and writing. I have enjoyed growing as an educator in all of those subjects, but I find myself most passionate about teaching writing. When students write, they are given a voice to share their thinking and perspective, giving choice on what topic to research or what characters to create, which means they are actively engaged in their learning and have a sense of ownership. Moreover, students can explore new ideas, wonder, set goals, and reflect. Needless to say, writing is a powerful learning tool. When students write nonfiction, they synthesize information into organized paragraphs. In action, this looks like students fueling their curiosity by reading and researching topics of interest. When students write fiction, they create real or imagined characters settings, and events and sequence it all in a story that unfolds naturally. In action, this looks like students drafting stories with all the narrative elements and sharing their writing with classmates so they can revise their work and make it even better. Both genres take a lot of brain power and require students to do the heavy lifting. That is why writing is known as the silver bullet. If you can write well, you can do anything. Last year, I wrote and was awarded a grant from the Hoover Foundation to create a school book publishing station in our media center. This publishing area is not officially open because of COVID, but will be soon. And it is a place where students can come and with the support of a volunteer, type, print, bind, and illustrate their writing. My plan is to invest a portion of my Rotary Club stipend into expanding our publishing station with special books for students on how to write your own stories and other books about the writing process from famous published authors. The rest of the stipend will go towards the cost of attending an institute on teaching writing. This will further develop my own understanding of the writing process, fostering growth mindset, student self-assessment, goal setting, and using technology to enhance the writing process. Attending this writing institute has been on my educational dream list for years. After participating in the conference, I will share what I've learned with our Moore staff so we can implement the institute's strategies. Thank you again for supporting the students and the educators of our great city. Your partnership and meaningful programming makes a big difference in the lives of students and educators of our Des Moines Public Schools.
Congratulations, Teresa. Now, Marcia and Capital View. Let me do this.
Hi, I'm Marcia Kerper, the principal at Capital View, and I'm here today to present my English language learner teacher, Nora. I first met Nora a few years ago at a job fair in the spring, and we talked for a very long time. We just made a connection, although I didn't have an opening for an ELL teacher, so I was kind of disappointed by that. But as fate would have it, about a month later, one of my teachers told me that they were relocating, and so I was able to dig up my contact information for Nora and give her a call, and she joined us. And so needless to say, she did not disappoint. So Nora has led our staff at Capital View in training, helping our teachers learn more effective strategies in working with English language learners and really working with all students of poverty that have language and vocabulary deficits. She has co-taught with our teachers. She collaborates with them on lesson plans. She truly has helped show growth in our students and our teachers at Capital View. Besides that, she has led our building committee, our equity anti-racism committee, in book studies and professional development. She's really helped us all be very reflective on our own privilege and biases. She has provided teachers with great resources to use with their students that are ready to go and appropriate for elementary age children. And beyond improving our teaching and learning at Capital View, she has done so many things for the community. She was one of those people giving up her free summer to pass out meals for families during COVID. And she continues that work every Thursday night in our building food pantry, passing out meals to our families. She has just added an incredible energy and enthusiasm and kindness to our building. And I struggle, I'm going to be honest, with normally nominating a teacher because it's so hard to pick one, and I'm so afraid teachers are going to be like, why not me, why not me? But this year, knowing how everybody on our staff feels about Nora, it was an easy decision. So very well deserved, and it's with great pride that I introduce Nora Krieger.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction. I am humbled and honored, but I wouldn't be the educator that I am today without the love and support of so many people. Thank you to my husband, Joe, for always being there and for truly making me a better person. Thank you to my mom, Marla, for sharing her passion for education with me and for inspiring me to become a teacher. Thank you to my dad, Bill, for instilling in me the value of hard work and teaching me the importance of being humble. Thank you to my brothers, Mark and Brian, for always being there to encourage me. Thank you to my principal, Marcia Kerper, for investing in me as an educator at Capitol View and for being a strong leader and advocate for our ELL population. Thank you to my assistant principal, Laura Cannon, for leading our equity and anti-racism work with me and encouraging me to join the team. Thank you to my ELL team at Capitol View, Nancy and Betsy, for helping me to implement Be Glad strategies school-wide and for helping us to have successful implementation of the co-taught model. Thank you to the 13 classroom teachers who've welcomed me into their classroom and who've helped me deliver strong instruction on a daily basis. Thank you to my anti-racism planning team for helping me plan and deliver strong instruction and professional development strategies to our staff. Thank you to Adrielle for coordinating our food pantry every week at Capitol View. Volunteering has given me the opportunity to build meaningful connections with our students and their families. Thank you to the coaches who have supported me. Their collaboration and their feedback has made me a better teacher. Thank you to my professors at Buena Vista University and Drake University for empowering me and teaching me how to be a reflective practitioner. Thank you to all the Capitol View staff for being on board and ready for our building-wide initiatives. I really appreciate each and every one of you. And most importantly, thank you to my students. Thank you for being the reason I show up to work every day. And thank you for being the reason that I want to be a better teacher every single day for you. And finally, thank you to the Rotary Club for this distinct honor. The work you do for our students, our staff, our families is greatly appreciated. I plan on using the stipend to invest in a library that offers anti-racism resources and brings in multiple perspectives of our marginalized populations, especially those of Black and Latino and Asian heritage, so that our students can be empowered and inspired by people who are them and are their future. I am grateful to work at Des Moines Public Schools, and I appreciate the strong leadership that this district has. Thank you again for everyone who has impacted me as an educator. I truly appreciate each and every one of you.
Good afternoon. My name is Paul Williamson. I'm the principal at Lincoln High School. I wrote down some comments because Karen is a special staff member at Lincoln and special to me, so I didn't want to mess this up. So I wrote down my comments. So today, I do have the honor of introducing a remarkable high school teacher. Karen Thompson has spent the last 36 years as a math teacher in Des Moines Public Schools and 31 years specifically at Lincoln High School. She happens to be the most tenured teacher at Lincoln High School. I have had the pleasure of working with Karen as her building principal for the last 10 years. During our time together, I have been able to lean on Karen a multitude of times to learn of historical practices in decision-making, as well as get the current pulse of our staff. The one thing I have learned about Karen in our time together is that I must listen carefully. She is not one to complain or raise concern without the willingness to be a partner in the problem-solving process. I value and respect her view on many topics related to education, although we do not agree all the time, and we must agree to disagree. Nonetheless, I know our conversations, our collaboration, and our debates are with the students' best interest in mind. Mrs. Thompson has also had a direct impact on our students for the past 36 years. She has had students become pilots, major in statistics, and major in chemistry, to go off and teach math in Africa. Many of her students have gone on to become educators, and with many teaching in Des Moines, and some becoming administrators. As you can see, you don't have to look far to find people who have been impacted by Karen Thompson. At this time, I would like to introduce you to Karen.
When Paul asked me to fill this form out, I was like, oh no. And now I know why, because as has been said several times, teachers are humble. We don't want, we fall under the radar. We do our jobs, we come to work every day. And as Paul knows, I come to work every day. I think I've missed, well, this is the first time I've had to get a sub, so the office secretary had to ask for it. I didn't. I'd like to thank the Rotary Club, of course. This is a great honor that you bestow on all the teachers of Des Moines, and so it is a wonderful time for us to think about education and to support our teachers, because yes, we are doing a battle against the virus and a battle against conditions that we've never battled before. So we thank you for this recognition. I'd also like to thank the staff at Lincoln High School, because without them, I would not be here. We always work as a team at Lincoln, and I am fully supported by everybody in that building, from coaches to administrators to the janitors at night. It is important that we continue to thank our entire staff, and I am accepting this award for the entire staff of Lincoln High School. I would also like to thank my husband, who has chosen to stand back there and stare at me. That's Steve. And my family, Eric and his wife Amy and daughter Harper, my second son Christopher and his wife Katie, who is also a Des Moines public school teacher, and my daughter Megan and her husband Marcus Devins. They have always been my rock, my foundation, and I am so proud of all three of them. Excuse me. As children of teachers, they don't realize it at the time. But as I look back, I realize that they have made countless sacrifices so that I could check papers and plan lessons. So thank you, my children. I'm sorry you couldn't be here with me. I am a third-generation teacher. My grandmother taught in a one-room school in the early 1900s. My mother taught home economics right after World War II. And here I am teaching math and carrying on that family tradition. Through the years, education has changed in many ways, but the one thing that always stands is our children. And it is all about the children. When I was asked what the greatest accomplishment in my career has been, first of all, they asked me the greatest accomplishment, so I immediately said my children, but because I'm a proud mom. Then it's the kids at Lincoln High School and the kids that I have worked with over the years. Many of those, as Paul said, have gone on to do great things, but we also want to remember that day-to-day, that enjoyment of learning that we want our children to have. So when I look back at my education, it's not about the curriculum I taught, because many of you don't have fond memories of pre-calculus and algebra 2 and statistics. I do, but you don't. But it's not about that curriculum, it's about the relationships that I build with those kids each day. I know I can't do it this year, but I think back to last year about the student who came by my room every single day just to give me a hug. And I'm not sure whether that hug was for him or for me. Because after that hug, I always felt better that day. And I know he did because there were a lot of things going on in his life outside of school that most of us wouldn't want to be there. So the one thing I want to leave you with is to remind you that education is about learning, but it's about teaching students to become lifelong learners and to understand the world around them. And that is the greatest gift we can give our students. So I'll find a way, because I haven't really figured out how I'm going to spend that money. I forgot that I was getting money. So I will find a way to encourage our students to learn and to grow. So thank you again. Thank you, the Rotary Club, and enjoy your day.
Hello, I am Jessica Gogarty. I'm the Director of Advanced Learning working out of Central Academy. And I'm very excited to introduce Sherry Brooks today as our Rotary Teacher of the Year. You know, March 13th, 2020, I got on the intercom and I said, teachers, clear off your desks and tables to make sure we can do some deep cleaning. And students, be sure to take all your things because we're not going to be back in school for 2 weeks. Here we are, almost exactly 13 months later, and Central Academy is still largely remote learning. It has been a challenge to make that transition. And when I made that announcement on March 13th, Sherry Brooks rolled into action. She leads our English department with 6 other teachers. And she had to help our team, because not everybody is as technology literate as Sherry is. She had to help our teachers transition in 2 weeks' time to remote learning, which was incredibly challenging for some of our teachers. Throughout the summer, she found ways to integrate back into the curriculum at all levels from grade 7 to 12. So all of those years, that's 6 years of curricula, that she worked to realign to the virtual modality was very challenging. And she supported her team with various levels of capability for technology use in teaching them the new tools and instructional strategies. Our team in the English department serves about 1,100 kids this year. And about half of those students qualify for free and reduced price lunch, and just under half are biracial or people of color, which a lot of people don't know about Central Academy. We are trying to get to a point where we're reflecting the demographics, the larger demographics of Des Moines Public Schools, and also supporting students who need advanced learning opportunities and demonstrate early readiness for advanced work. After the first semester in the English department, of those 1,100 and some odd kids that took that class or took those classes, 86% had a B or higher, and 94% earned credit for their classes. It was amazing. And it was legitimate. These are the standards, and how are we going to help you reach those standards? It was Sherry's incredible work with that team to come up with a plan and a strategy to make that possible for our students. And it was astounding and quite amazing. She has been a leader in our school for many years, and she's been a part of Des Moines Public Schools for, we're not gonna say many years. Yeah, it's like 20-some years, because I've known her when we first taught together at North High School. So it was a real pleasure to come back to Central Academy and be able to teach with Sherry again. So it is my pleasure to introduce to you Sherry Brooks.
Hi. Thank you so much for this honor. I want to thank the Rotary Club for all that you do for Des Moines Public Schools, for the teachers and the students. I do believe I just wrote a letter of recommendation for one of my students for the Rotary Scholarship, so if anyone's on that committee and wants to know the name of the student you should give it to, I got you. So I'd also like to thank Dr. Gogarty. She's an amazing support for our whole school, especially as a professional learning community and the English department head. She always supports us and gives us much leeway to do what we need to do, which is best for our kids. I was just talking to Mr. Wooten, who just asked me, do we think that our kids are falling behind? Or do we think that we need, how much remediation are we going to have to do next year? And, you know, I really had to think about that. And I ended up saying, I don't think they're behind. I think on a normal day, and ironically, I taught his son as well, and I said on a normal day or a normal year, what's important to me is, and what the kids are going to remember about my class is nothing to do with English, right? It is really to do with what I teach them about how they should be a better person and a better person in this world and in this community. So yeah, I've taught them fewer novels. Most of them are pretty happy they don't have to read Brothers Karamazov. I'm not, but they are. But I still think that they're getting everything that they need and much more with this whole online thing that they've had to deal with their own patients and the like. One last thing I would like to thank, I brought my son here with me today. This is Lex. He is a Des Moines Public School student as well. He goes to Roosevelt Central Academy and Central Campus for film and broadcasting. We actually lived in Ankeny for most of our lives growing up, and then when they had to go to traditional school, I was not going to send my children to Ankeny Public Schools. Sorry if anyone lives there. But I wanted them to be a part of Des Moines Public Schools. I wanted them to see what Iowa is made of, and it's not just the suburbs. It is the city of Des Moines. And so my oldest is proudly graduating from Roosevelt this year, and like I said, my youngest is a freshman. So other than that, just thank you so much for the honor. I'm quite privileged. Put this back. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Sherry. Our next honoree, for significant personal reasons, couldn't be with us today in person, but is joining us via live stream. Please think about teaching students in 2 grade levels, both general and special education students, and students who are in a residential mental health treatment program. For the past 5 years, Julie Stoll has done just that at Orchard Place School. This is what Gail Soulsby, her principal, said about this veteran educator of 31 years. Julie is passionate in her work as an educator and is always dedicated to providing outstanding curriculum and other opportunities for her students. She was always going above and beyond with her students by creating unique opportunities for them. Recently, Julie started an after-school book club for a couple of her students. Why would she do this, Gail asked. She did it because they asked her to have a book club for them, because they love to read. And of course, Julie was eager to provide this opportunity. Each nominee is asked what innovative instructional approaches they have used in their classes, or what they have added to student learning. Julie commented, "Since working at Orchard Place Schools, we use the sanctuary method for community building and meetings where we go around the room and ask one another 3 questions. Number 1, how are you feeling? This must be an emotion, not good, not fine, but something like excited or anxious. The second question is really not a question. It comes in, what is your goal for today? It's actually a statement that they use. My goal for today is not to feed into negative behaviors, to focus on my work. Boy, that's something I think we all could share. And number 3, Julie asks, who can help you? Julie builds relationships and shows each student that she truly cares about them. Another question that all of the nominees have been asked to provide are examples of student accomplishments that were a result of their instructional activities. Julie writes, I've witnessed students who can only type 1 or 2 sentences, writing 2 or 3 paragraphs in mere months, using what is termed expanded expression tool. It improves not only the student's ability to organize a paragraph, but gives them confidence in writing in other areas of the curriculum. She adds, I have had students that were on a 3rd grade reading level in 7th grade classes, and they feel comfortable enough to read out loud, knowing that my classroom is a safe environment to make mistakes and not to get laughed at or ridiculed. Finally, she adds, I have seen students with specifically designated individual instruction plans in the 3 goal areas of reading, writing, and math, and keep pace set by the district. And they meet my expectations for the core classes, as well as doing extremely well on the MAPS test. And the final question we asked of all our nominees is, what are they most proud of as an educator? Julie wrote, as an educator, I am teaching not only the core standards and benchmarks, but I feel my real job is to teach students to love the process of learning, to give them a spark and curiosity of what is to come and what could be. And she does all this in the setting of a residential mental health program at Orchard Place. I think you can see why Julie Stoll is one of Rotary's 2021 Educators of the Year. Congratulations, Julie. And congratulations to Teresa, Nora, Karen, and Sherry. What a great day for Des Moines education. We're proud of you and your work. Keep it up. President Doug.
Yeah, thank you, Art, and your committee for their work in selecting the Educators of the Year. I'm sure it was a difficult job to get it down to only 5. Thanks to Superintendent Dr. Ahart for being with us today, and a special thanks to all the principals and educators and their guests for being with us today. Thank you for your work in our public schools. And again, congratulations to Russ Johnson for 50 years in the Rotary Club of Des Moines. And in honor of Russ's 50-year Rotary anniversary, Russ and his son Kurt, who's also a longtime member of our club, will be in the lobby with truffles for you if you'd like to take one home today. We do have one problem, though. It appears we are 4 short of truffles. So I need 4 volunteers to pass on taking one. I'll go ahead and volunteer. And the other volunteers are Skeet Wooten, Dr. Stickle, Harvey Freeze, Bob Vendrell. If you don't like it, I can volunteer you for the upcoming community service project too. Huh? That was 5? I did struggle in math in school. You sure that's 5? Oh, anyway. But yeah, actually I did struggle a little bit in my early years in elementary school with math. And I had a teacher who stuck with me and helped me through it. And I don't know why people would not enjoy going to geometry or algebra or calculus classes. I certainly did in later years. I've also been told here by several of the members I must not be a very good engineer because I seem to have a personality. So thank you all for being with us here today, whether in person, watching our live stream, or later on our YouTube channel. And we have some upcoming speakers next week. Kathy Obradovich of Capital Dispatch. Oh, easy. And just when you think we're done with Des Moines Public Schools for the year, April 29th, another great day, our local scholarship program, where 6 Des Moines public school seniors will receive a 4-year, $8,000 scholarship. That's for $2,000 a year over 4 years. Is that right? Okay, I'm good on that one. Whew. On May 6th, our own member, Jackie Norris, is going to talk about life in the White House. And again, thank you all for being with us here today and being part of the Rotary Club of Des Moines. And thanks for those tuning in later on our YouTube channel. And one note to our Educators of the Year, please stick around after the meeting. We need to get some photos of you. And in keeping with my theme for the year, to leave something behind, please do something this week to impact the life of someone else. And you don't have to do to the extent of what our Teachers of the Year do day in and day out, as they will impact the lives of hundreds, if not thousands, of children during their careers. With that, we are adjourned.